live episode of the Geek Gossip Podcast. I'm Jack Higgins.
And I'm Artie Higgins. This is a podcast where we talk about movies, comics, and all things geek.
Yeah, but this week's episode is unlike any other because here we are, live at Granite Con. Let's hear it. Woo! Yeah! That's what I'm talking about, New England. All right. So like all our convention episodes so far, we have an awesome group of special guests joining us. And, yeah, these guys. And first up, we have the one and only Rich Woodall. Rich is well known for some of his independent works like The Electric Black, Sergeant Werewolf, Johnny Raygun, Gods of Brutality, and more. He has also done variant covers for both Dark Horse and IDW, including many titles such as Masters of the Universe and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're super stoked to have you back on the show, Rich.
Thank you, and I'm always happy to talk to you guys.
Awesome. So we also have another returning Geek Gossip guest, Perhapanauts co-creator Craig Russo.
Known as the excellent artist of the Perhapanauts series, Craig has also drawn several classic characters for both Marvel and DC, along with the awesome miniseries Young Hellboy, which is currently a coming out sequel titled Assault on Castle Death. It's great to have you on the podcast for a third time, Craig.
A pleasure as always.
Last but not least is Eisner Award-winning artist Freddie E. Williams II. Freddie is the crossover guy, known for his work on the He-Man vs. Thundercats, Masters of the Universe vs. Injustice, the Batman Ninja Turtles trilogy, and most recently, Godzilla vs. Power Rangers, along with characters such as Miracle Man, Elektra, Conan, Blue Beetle, and more. We're thrilled to have you on the show here, Freddie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of Geek Gossip returning guests here. It's so great to have everybody here. And here we are at the 20th annual Granite Con. Like 20 years of this awesome. How's that? So, going around the table with creators, starting with Rich, then Craig, then Freddie, how long have you guys each been going to Granite Con?
I went to the first Granite Con, and I've gone to, I would say, almost, I know I probably missed a year or two, but almost every single one.
Wow.
Yeah, it was always in this hotel. It started off in a room, it may have even been in this room, really, really small room. Were you at the first one?
I think I might have been.
Yeah, I was sitting next to Bob Allman. His kid just kept running
cars
on me. Yeah.
On your shoulders?
Yeah, oh yeah. We didn't have much control over that. But yeah, since the first one, which was like a one-day show in a small room in here, and they've grown to 3 days and something, take up the whole entire hotel.
Yeah. What about you, Craig? Were you at the first one?
I think so. Things get so hazy when you go back that long. But I know that I've been to almost all of them. Every now and then I would skip a year, then come back, skip a year. But the last several years I've been here, and I do want to say that it's the first one, but I could be wrong. You'd have to ask.
Freddie, we know you were here last year, but had you been prior to that?
No, last year was my first year, so
wow.
Yeah, and I'm hoping they'll have me back next year. It's a great show and lots of enthusiasm from everyone, so it's a great atmosphere.
Yeah, it is an awesome show. I mean, this is our first year as guests, but we were here last year, right, Artie?
Yep. So, audience, applaud if this is your first year at Granite Con.
Now, audience, cheer if you've been to Granite Con before.
Yeah!
Awesome. So, now let's get to creator questions, starting with Rich here.
So, the new project that you're developing is about Dracula as a lucha libre wrestler in the late 19th century Mexico titled Bloody Ring of Dracula.
Yes, that is correct.
This comic sounds absolutely amazing. So what is the inspiration behind it?
I have a Sergeant Werewolf comic. I love the Universal monsters.
Yeah.
And,
who doesn't?
Right. I've always wanted to do something with the classic werewolf, vampire, Dracula and Frankenstein. So But I like to put my own spin. So Sergeant Werewolf's World War II. Thought Dracula as a luchador would be weird and fun. And I just try to find crazy things to write about. And Mark Welser, who was my partner on Gods of Brutality, is illustrating that one.
Nice. Yeah, you and Mark make a great creative team. So I'm excited to see more stuff the two of you crank out.
Thank you very much.
Earlier this week, you debuted a new one-shot reprinting the first appearance of your aforementioned character, Sergeant Werewolf, an American soldier in World War II who gets turned into a lycanthrope by some vampire Nazis. What inspired you to reprint Sergeant Werewolf? Would you ever want to make more comics with this character, or is he just a one-off?
Yeah, so the original inspiration for Sergeant Werewolf, and I'll try to keep this short, was in Johnny Ray Gun. There was a throwaway joke. He and his girlfriend were in his bedroom going through all his crap, his comics and movies and stuff, and his girlfriend's like, Sergeant Werewolf, what is this crap? He's like, that's the most awesome movie ever. And it was a throwaway joke like 20 years ago. And then it's always been in the back of my mind, like, I should draw that comic. That would be a cool comic to draw. And that's kind of where it came from. And the reason I reprinted it is, we did a Kickstarter, sold probably 200 backers. So we had this opportunity, being the publisher of Black Caravan, to put it out to a nationwide audience. And recolored it because it printed really dark the first time, so it's kind of like the new improved version of it.
Awesome.
So would you ever want to make like more Sergeant Werewolf stories?
Yeah, I do. It's one of those things, juggling the day job and then publishing job and then writing a couple books and stuff. It's hard to find time to do all the projects I want. So I kind of have to pick and choose. Do a one shot here, do a one shot there, and see what floats and keep going with it. Every couple of years maybe.
Yes. So what are some other upcoming titles of yours readers should be on the lookout for?
So Gods of Brutality is done. Hopefully we'll get a trade November, December-ish for Volume 1. Electric Black is on hiatus right now. Hopefully the second volume of that trade will come out soon. Let's see. The Bloody Ring of Dracula is the next thing that'll probably be kickstarted early next year, along with Johnny Ray Gun, first volume, which is first time going to be in color, so I'm going to kickstart that in the spring, and then I've got another project called Black Magic Ops that I'm writing and drawing, and that'll be I'm going to start shopping that around probably next summer.
Nice. What's that one about?
That one is Black Magic Ops. I mean, it's a kind of I guess the best thing I can compare it to is like X-Men versus meets G.I. Joe. It's
nice.
A special ops team that uses magic, so you got kind of mutant, it's weird.
Sounds awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's weird. I'm not good at the pitch thing yet for that one. I don't have that done yet.
What are some, oh wait, never mind. So now we're gonna get to Craig Russo's questions. Last year you did the original Young Hellboy series. Now 2 of 4 issues have been released to the new sequel series, and they've been absolutely awesome. But between the sequel and the original, which was more fun to make?
That's a tough question because they've both been awesome. Like the first miniseries, it was Young Hellboy, and it was a dream come true to be offered the job. But then he said, okay, so there's a jungle girl, and there's a giant gorilla, there's a vampire bat creature, there's mummies. Like, I don't know what else I would want in a story. But then the next series, he says, well, Officer Johnson shows up, and there's monsters and Nazis and zombies, and like, well, that might be even better. I don't know. So I can't really tell you which one I want.
The second one's like more of like your average Hellboy story because there's more of the usual Mignola universe elements, but
There are, but they're also filtered through, young Hellboy's eyes.
right. So it's like his first exposure to it. But the original is interesting because it's a bit fantastical, So it's definitely, they both stand out. So yeah, I can see there'd be difficulty in comparing them, but Do you think like you've grown as an artist since the first Hellboy series?
You know, I think with every job, hopefully, you grow as an artist. So I think that I'm doing different things with this book. I did the first series, and I'm working on issue 4 of Assault on Castle Death now. And, you know, I've worked in some different stylistic elements that I think play well and pay off. So yeah, I think I've grown a bit on this one.
Awesome. You're also drawing a story based on the song Mulaney in the upcoming graphic novel The Illustrated Owl, based on the songs of legendary song parodist Weird Al Yankovic. How'd you get involved with such a cool project?
I asked. I have been a Weird Al fan since I was probably when I was your age. A Weird Al Yankovic song. And I've just been a lifelong fan, and I actually had done some Disney Adventures comic strips with Weird Al Yankovic. When I saw this book was coming out, I immediately ordered it. But then I said, I really want to do something in this book. And I don't usually get jealous of other artists when they get jobs. Like, oh, good for them, that's great. But I want to be in this book. So I found out who the editor was, and I emailed them and said, anything. And they replied back and said, sure, okay, which was very easy and unusual for me. So I said, fantastic.
Nice. Speaking of iconic, oh, wait.
Question.
Sorry, I just really wanted to ask that one.
So, speaking of iconic musical comedy acts, as you posted on social media, you saw the Tenacious D show in New Hampshire. So we were there too, and what did you think?
I thought that D rocked my socks off.
Totally, yeah. They were great. Would you ever want to make a Tenacious D comic in the event Jables and Cage ever want foot in the comics industry?
You know, if they ever asked, I'd be there. But Jack Black drew his own Tenacious D comic a few years ago.
The post-apocalypto?
Yeah, which is ridiculous. I loved it.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to get my mitts on that, but I really want to read that.
It's a lot of fun. It's straight up Tenacious D.
Yeah, like how could it not be fun? So next we got some questions for Freddie E. Williams. So Artie, you want to hit us off?
Yeah, so your latest crossover, the 5-issue miniseries Godzilla vs. Power Rangers from IDW and Boom Studios, just wrapped up earlier this month, and it was a truly epic story and some of your best work. Are there any other Godzilla-related crossovers you'd want to draw?
I haven't really thought about that, to be honest. I mean, drawing Godzilla is a dream come true, and I'm trying to make it as horrifying as possible. I'm not sure about, who else. I don't know. To be honest, I'm just not sure. I drew like a big Godzilla display for the San Diego Comic-Con, and that felt like a big honor that Toho was.
Yeah, that was really
doing that
cool.
stuff. But usually they just approach me with a project if they have something, not Toho, but whatever company approaches me if they have an idea and already have all the rights cleared and stuff. So to be honest, I didn't even know, I guess like some of the Transformers or something, I don't know.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be really fun, but I just assumed that Power Rangers had crossed over with Godzilla already, so when they approached me, I was like, wait, that doesn't already exist? And then I started searching it, and I saw like a bunch of fan-made crossovers and like what-ifs, all like fan fiction, but I was thrilled to draw that and happy to be the first to draw it, so officially, I guess.
That's awesome. So earlier this year, you and legendary Ninja Turtles co-creator Kevin Eastman did an awesome story for Marvel anthology, Elektra, Black, White, and Blood. This is the first comic you've ever done for Marvel, I believe so, right?
No, I've done a couple of issues of Star-Lord, but it was a long time ago. So.
Yeah, so how did this project come about?
Let's see. Let me think of the correct public answer for this. Kevin was really behind, and he was gonna write it and draw it himself. And then one day, whenever I was out at breakfast, he texted me and he was like, "Oh my God, I need a lot of help because I'm really behind." And I love Kevin Eastman, and I'm like, anything you need me to do, I'm happy to do it. So that's how we got connected on it. And then the editors were like, "Oh hey," it was almost like they were sidestepped because he just brought me in. He was like, "This is the only way we can get it done." So they're like, "Oh okay," and then we drew it together. We penciled it. We did the layouts together. A lot of times it would be like we would have a phone call about a type of thing we were homaging, because we did a lot of homages to like the Frank Miller Daredevil stuff, where there's like contiguous image, where it's like multiple figures in the same panel that's showing motion, or they're like running down the stairs or something. And or he would do like a little doodle on a post-it note, take a cell phone photo of it and send it to him, and then I would do a more fleshed out version of that he inked it, and then he sent it to me, and I did some more ink. So we did a lot of collaboration. That's what I've always wanted to do. Back when I read that Mirage Studios was a thing a long time ago, when I was like 12 years old, I was so desperately wanted to work at Mirage, and this is the closest I have to that. But now we're separated by thousands of miles and do it over the internet. So.
Well, you're both at Granite this weekend.
That's true.
Yeah, have you gotten a chance to say hi yet?
Yeah, we hung out a little bit.
Nice.
Last night, the night before. Not a whole lot, but he's pulled in 100 different directions at all times. So.
Right. Yeah. Like those lines are pretty long.
Oh my
It's
God.
like,
Yeah.
like I don't know, it makes Disney look like, I don't know, a drive-through at McDonald's like at 2 in the morning. Yeah. So yeah, but Kevin's just a great guy. He was our first interview, and he was like one of the nicest people like
He is.
ever.
And he's authentically like that, even if you know him in like his personal life and stuff. He's really, really nice.
Yeah, it's how you'd imagine him to be. He's co-created the Ninja Turtles. Like, how cool was that?
Yeah.
So, what are some other Marvel characters you'd like to work with?
Oh, there's a whole bunch. A lot of my favorite characters are at Marvel, so I'd love to draw something with Wolverine, Spider-Man. Captain America is my favorite of the Marvel characters ever, so I'd love to draw something with that. I drew like an all-ages licensed book of Thor once that had to go through Marvel, but it was for a third-party company. But I'd love to draw more Thor as well, because just the sort of muscular, the body mass. I like to draw that sort of size, or Colossus, those types of characters.
Yeah, like well, you're really good at that with like He-Man and Thundercats and stuff, so yeah.
Alright, so now that Marvel has the rights to Alien and Predator, the monsters of the Xenoverse going up against Marvel Heroes is a comic event that we're bound to see at some point down the road. So as someone who's drawn enough awesome crossovers to be referred to as the crossover guy, would this be something you'd be interested in drawing?
Yeah, definitely.
Have you drawn Alien and Predator before, like for commissions or anything?
Never an Alien or Xenomorph. I've never drawn that, but I've drawn a couple of Predators. But yeah, I would love to draw them. I mean, the first Alien movie is my favorite movie of all time. So,
oh wow!
And of course, Predator is amazing. The first one. So I'd love to draw that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think they probably have 100 artists clamoring to get that. If they ask me, I definitely say yes, but I don't know if I'm that lucky to get to draw that.
Yeah. So next we got some general questions that apply to everybody. You want to start us off with that, already?
Yeah, so we'll just go around and you can provide your answers to these questions. So all the creators on this panel have drawn some really awesome artwork for a variety of characters, but going around the table, what would you say is the most challenging thing you've ever drawn?
It almost sounded like somebody said, I know the challenge is drawing the whole thing. That's actually what they sound like they said that down the hall.
I saw someone in cricket cosplay, like a big, like, yeah.
Yeah, some sort of like dog mask or something. Anyway, for me, it was issue 5 of He-Man Thundercats. There was this big fight at the foot of Castle Grayskull.
Oh, yeah.
The ancient spirits of evil are fighting against like the whole Masters of the Universe. So He-Man's not there, but all the rest of the Masters of the Universe is there. And that fight scene happened also right around Christmas. So it's like you have the deadline, you have to get it done, but you're also trying to do all this family stuff. Of course, everything happens around Christmas. And I got very little sleep. It was just a very, very taxing issue to draw because it was all battle with all these hundreds of characters. So that's my answer.
What about you, Rich?
For me, I'm not trying to drawn Kyra. So I haven't drawn Kyra hardly at all because Craig's done it so well. Like, we didn't talk about it, but Kyra's a book that both Craig and I worked on. I wrote it, Craig drew it. He created a character that looks so good and it's so distinctly his character that when I try to draw it, I'm always comparing it to what Craig's done. And I mean, I've probably done sketch covers, and I did the poster for Granite one year was a Kyra thing, and maybe a couple pin-ups or something. But that's always difficult for me because that one specific character is so Craig that I don't want to screw it up.
Well, and I think that leads right into young Hellboy. Like, I mean, Hellboy is Mike Mignola. And I had to kind of divorce myself from the fact that I'm never going to draw it like him. I'm not going to draw like Duncan Fegretto, who's another artist that I just admire, to no end. So I had to just, you know what, they hired me to draw the book, so they want me to draw me, so that's what I did. And once you can get into that mindset, like, you can kind of get past that and, not go on the internet and read what people are saying about you, so that makes it easier. And just do your best. I've had other jobs that are just, editorial comes back and fix that. And those are just soul sucking.
They destroy your morale.
Yeah,
You're right.
you're
Especially if you're on the deadline.
you're a pencil monkey at that point. You're just giving them what they want. Where if they allow you to be creative and give you leeway, that's usually where the best work happens, I think.
Nice. So, in your careers, you've all gone to several awesome conventions, including this one. But what would you all each say is the craziest thing you've ever seen happen at a Comic-Con?
Let's go.
All right, I'm going to slightly alter the question to be that I heard at Comic-Con. So we went to a convention in 2016 in Dublin, Ireland, and there was they had a replica. There was a booth there that had a replica Game of Thrones throne, like the Sword of
Oh,
Thrones.
wow.
Throne of Swords. I said it backwards the first time. But they had the opening theme song that's about 30 seconds long on loop.
Oh.
And so I don't know if you've ever heard of something called psychic driving. It's where if something is like people who would, like in the 60s, the government did experiments where they put somebody in an insulin coma and put earphones on their head and put a loop tape recorder and drive messages into their mind to solve psychological problems or do whatever. I don't know exactly. And I don't know if it was successful or not, but it probably wasn't real healthy for their brain. Well, that's what this experience did to me. That song played in a 30-second loop, and then there'd be 2 seconds of silence, and then it played again. And we were there for 8 hours. It was just nonstop. And I would find myself, like after that convention, that was just in the background of my brain. No one was playing the music, but it was back there. They had gotten to my subconscious. So that was the weirdest experience I had because I felt like I had been brainwashed with the music from Game of Thrones. And I still don't like that theme song. It totally ruined it for me. I don't know, that's the first one that pops to mind.
What about you, Rich?
I'm trying to think. I mean, there's weird things at every convention. A lot of times you get weird commission requests. There's the guy with the foot fetish that comes up and he's like, just very cautiously, hey, can you draw Black Widow? Yeah, of course, absolutely. Can she not have her boots on? And then you get it, and you're like, oh, okay.
And maybe she's tied up a little
Right.
bit.
And the weirder it gets, the more I charge. So there's always a point where you're like, okay, no, that's too much. But
Cross the line, sir.
yeah. But I have heard Eric Larson was having a similar conversation. What's the weirdest commission you've ever done? And he told me about this guy had a book, an entire book filled with this. You guys are too young to know who Marky Post is, but she was an actress on Night Court. It was half Marky Post, half dolphin, and an entire book of that.
There are a lot of weird commission requests out there. That's all I gotta say about that.
Craig, what about you? What's your weirdest Comic-Con story?
I'm sure there's so much that's happened that it just kind of flows. And you're like, oh, okay. But like, just weird things that happen when you show up at the show and where's so-and-so? Oh, he got run over by a car on the way to dinner that night. So he was in the emergency room. Our friend Sandy, he was walking down the road and the car drove over his foot. And I'm like, oh man, can you imagine traveling all this way to a convention and spending the night in the hospital because someone ran over your foot.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just unusual stuff like that that doesn't usually happen when you're sitting at home, not leaving your house at home. I'm sure there are many other much more inappropriate stories.
Right.
All right, I just thought of another one. I'm not going to name the venue because it wasn't their fault, but there was a venue that was, can't name the state. It was unseasonably cold. It was unseasonably cold for this convention, and they were going to have it where it was slightly outdoors, where they had this tent that was supposed to have heaters brought in, and that would keep it kind of warm to take the chill out, but it was like almost freezing. So there was 0 attendees because no one wanted to come with as cold as it was or to get out. And every one of us, all of the vendors, were sitting there like frigid. And the only person who made money at that show was the coffee vendors. The coffee wasn't even that good, but you could hold it and they would at least warm you up. And there was one person who was super excited to be there. It was the guy who plays, he was one of the stunt performers of the Ninja Turtles, and he has his full suit on, and he's like, it's the first show I've ever been at that I wasn't sweltering. It was perfect temperature for him. That was like one of the worst experiences of my life. It wasn't the organizer's fault or anything. It was just super cold.
Please tell me that was a one-day show.
Yeah.
No, it was oh wow. It was a 2-day show, but I mean the second day they were like, we're gonna call it early because it was cold both of those days. So yeah, we got out of there early. That was tough.
That's rough.
So going around the table, how many conventions do you think you've each been to as guests?
Jeez.
Maybe 100 or so, something like that. Because it's like 6 or 7 a year times.
Right,
Yeah. And I've been doing conventions for about 15 years, so it'd be around there. I mean, there was like this, there was like a year and a half there wasn't any conventions. There was like this thing going around, you might have heard about it. so that stopped it for a little bit, but conventions are getting back in the swing of things now. So.
Yeah, I mean, well in the double digits, triple, but then a lot of times if it's a fun show, you'll do it again, so like, I don't know, I wouldn't count this one over and over and over again, but, Baltimore, Boston, all the local East Coast shows I'll go to fairly frequently. I've been to others on the West Coast, I've been to other countries, a lot, over 20, 25 odd years at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about you, Rich?
I've been going to shows since I was 16, and I've kept all my badges, and so I have them all at home. And so since 1993, I think, I've got badges from Boston and Philly and Pittsburgh and stuff like that. And yeah, it's double digits. Who knows how many? There was like 3 or 4 years when I moved away to Maryland that I didn't do anything. But yeah, just been going forever. And Craig and I started going to the Monkey House Boston shows, which were near Chinatown in Boston.
6th floor.
We didn't know each other then, but like that was a staple. Every month there was a 1-day show there, and that was my second convention.
It was
First
one,
one I said
that was one of those shows that had like one big name artist and a couple small ones. Conventions used to be like this.
Right. To this, yes.
Awesome. So now that we got to do those awesome interviews, we'd like to take you on to a different part of the show. People of New Hampshire, make some noise for the battles!
All right, so the battles is a regular part we have on our podcast where we take 2 fictional characters from different universes and debate on who we think would win in a fight. Now, what we're going to do is name some matchups we came up with and ask the audience and the creators who they think would win.
So for the first battle, we have Captain America versus the Predator. Now, creators, let's go around the table and hear your opinion on this.
Captain America. No question, really.
I mean, Captain America. He's the best Marvel character ever.
My answer is it depends on who's writing it. There will always be somebody who will great to make whoever win that they need to win or want to win. I mean, if it's from afar and Captain America's not aware of them, Predator just blasts him in the back and the game, you know, it's over. But that's not really to the sport, so I don't know. I really don't know. The writer chooses.
All right, now, oh yeah.
Yeah, audience, cheer if you think Captain America would win. Now cheer if you think Predator would win.
Okay, yeah, it's
Wow, okay.
unanimous. Okay, so yes, unanimous that Cap wins. What do you think, Ernie? Like, what's your take?
Honestly, I'm gonna go with Predator. He has much better instincts and weapons.
Yeah, I mean, Captain America probably does have better fight experience than the average Predator, but Predator by default probably is stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, I could see it going like 40-60, I don't know.
So by that argument, like Arnold Schwarzenegger could beat Captain America?
Oh, wait.
Sorry.
Wait, yeah, actually, wait, right. Yeah, Predator's been taken down by normal humans on normal occasions, like Batman has in fair match. He's like,
To be fair, I mean, Predator took out like 30 people before he got to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Maybe he was a little tired.
True.
I don't know.
Hey, if it was a bar fight, it'd be whoever got the first sucker punch in.
Alright, so does the shield, does the vibranium shield or adamantium shield, does it deflect a blast from the shoulder cannon from a Predator?
Right.
I don't
Well,
know.
like the metal's made a somebody probably knows, right?
Yeah,
Maybe.
The writer. You know?
The writer knows.
Alright, so for our next battle, we have Superman versus the Hulk. Creators, what are your takes on this?
I think I mean, Superman is such a gentleman that he would never jump to just punching him at light speed, or nearly light speed, and busting his head off before there's a chance for him to react in a Hulk-like manner. So he would instead, there would be an incremental fight. I still think Superman would win because he has the intelligence to like stick in the middle of the ocean or do something like that to allow him time to calm down, or to like fly him to the moon and leave him there. But that, I mean, that's not a character for Superman. But yeah, I mean, he has the ability to, without Hulk's awareness, to fly in and snap his neck off his head, or off his body. So, but that's not Superman. So. At least not until the Man of Steel or whatever. So,
Right.
Not my Superman, I guess.
No, it's Superman.
No, I agree. I think Superman would figure out a way to win.
I'm gonna go the other way. Just based on documented fact that I saw in Death of Superman, where Doomsday killed Superman. Sure, he came back. Spoiler.
With the bullet.
But I think Hulk. You know, I think he could do equal damage to Superman that Doomsday did.
Yeah, it's.
That's a fair
Just to play devil's advocate here.
Alright, now
What do you think,
audience. Hold on, wait, audience. Cheer if you think Superman would win.
All right, audience, now cheer if you think Hulk wins. Okay, so creators were dominantly Superman, like audience was dominantly Hulk. Artie, let's be the tiebreaker. What's your take?
I think Rich's argument was really good. And I feel like Hulk is probably a really good matchup for Doomsday, so I say he would take on Superman.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Hulk is like, I don't know, angrier he gets, the stronger he gets, and it's like, I don't know, so like, I don't know, if you fight someone as strong as Superman, he's gonna get really frustrated, really angry. It's just gonna get to the point where it's just like, okay, man, just like, I don't know, so it's like, the guy once got strong enough to punch a hole in time, which how do you not do that? So, I don't know. I hand this to the Hulk. What's our next fight, Ernie?
Alright, next up we have Darth Vader versus Godzilla. Creators, who do you think's winning this one?
All right, so just for like full disclosure, they did tell me that ahead of time. As soon as I got in here, they said, I was like, who's going to be the battle? And they did mention Godzilla versus Darth Vader. So that to me is so funny, such a funny matchup. But I am prepared with an answer for that. All right, it's a really good one. Vader, of course, because he has enough force power, right, to deflect any even an atomic blast with the help of his lightsaber. And then he could probably, since objects or the size of the object doesn't matter, you can still be lifted up in the air or something. And then he like force chokes Godzilla. He can't do the atomic blast because his esophagus is all shrunken up. So I think it would be Vader, right? You're right. Okay. All right. Of course. Scientifically proven.
Yeah, I would go with Vader. I mean, just based on what was the last Obi-Wan where he spoiler, he grabs a ship and the thing was pretty big and it had jet thrusters and stuff. So it could be a very similar thing. Yeah, Vader's got the intelligence, and I will say he's a little scared of fire at this point, but as long as Godzilla doesn't get a cheap shot in first.
Unless Godzilla has a sand blast.
Right.
Then Vader's
Well, which Godzilla? There's about 6 renditions of him. Mechagodzilla, Godzilla the Destroyer.
Craig, what do you think?
I gotta go with Vader on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I saw you ready to make like the Godzilla versus Bambi reference, but then I think Freddie might have swayed
It's
you.
more of a joke than anything else. Yeah, like they have made Vader this much more impressive character in the last few appearances, like at the end of Rogue One and
He's like a slasher villain.
the Obi-Wan show where they made him an unstoppable force, really.
Awesome. Now, audience, cheer if you think Godzilla wins.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Now cheer if you think Darth Vader wins. All right, Artie, what do you think?
Vader all the way. He's taken on monsters as bad as Godzilla, so.
Yeah, I mean, I feel kind of bad because this is like super unanimous. We're kind of really throwing Godzilla under the bus here. But yeah, I don't know. It's just Vader. He's lifted oceans and crap, and like if we go into legends, he's the most powerful Sith Lord of all time, who outclasses Nihilus, who ate a planet. So
I do want to draw Vader force choking Godzilla. That would be an amazing commission to draw.
Yeah.
that would be awesome. That'd be awesome. I'm gonna have to like win the lottery soon, so I can commission you to do that.
Alright. For the grand finale, we have Spider-Man versus all 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Creators, who do you think is taking home the trophy?
I think that's might be the most balanced. Well, the Cat Predator was pretty balanced.
I don't know enough about the turtles, so I'm just gonna go Spider-Man.
Freddie, what do you think?
I do think it would be Spider-Man. I feel like I know the Ninja Turtles as far as I feel like they're my friends somehow because I spent so much time drawing them and like I know them. But unfortunately, I think it would be Spider-Man, and he would make it fun and funny for them as they get beat up. But they would all wind up in the webs and just be immobilized, basically. I think.
I mean, it does seem like one of those classic like Marvel 2-in-1 issues where the good guys fight at the beginning and then they have to go off and do something. They'll eat pizza in between and then
They all
fight.
team up to fight the Shredder
Right.
and Electro.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man's beat the Sinister Six, so I'm pretty sure he can handle the Turtles.
4 turtles.
Right. 4 Turtles. Only 4 of them.
6 and 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can take out Randy Macho Man Savage. The Turtles are no problem.
All right, audience, cheer if you think the Turtles would win.
I'm going Turtles. Man.
Oh, okay, all right. Nick, what do you think? Why do you think Turtles?
I don't know, man. They got the teamwork. Most of them can cut through the webs, right? Like, I don't know. I just believe.
Yeah, just good
I
luck
just
with the
believe.
nunchucks.
I
Just believe in them. Yeah.
All right, yeah.
That's a fair answer.
Now cheer if you think Spidey wins. All right, so Artie, what's your take?
I'm pretty sure I'm going to say Turtles because the Sinister Six don't really work very well. They kind of all want their own thing. Where, like, the Turtles, they've mastered teamwork very well, so I think they could defeat Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, as Freddy has drawn Batman is enough to take out all 4 turtles, because like he kind of rivals them pretty well, because he knows martial arts like awesome, and then Spider-Man with the superhuman strength and speed. I gotta give him a win. Now, we only have 5 minutes left. We probably have time for like a question or two from the Q&A.
Yeah, so raise your hand if you've got a question for us or any of these creators. We should have Jeopardy music.
I think I have one.
All right.
Now this is very generic, and I know Craig said he doesn't know that much about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I want all of you to answer. What is your favorite turtle from Turtles?
All right. Artie, you want to go first?
Some days it's Michelangelo, because you know he's the funny party guy. But then other days it's Donatello because he's like the nerdy one. So I'm gonna say like a tie, but maybe like 60% Michelangelo, 40% Donatello.
You know, before we started rolling, I know Freddie said like character-wise, Raph's like his least favorite, but I don't know. I don't know. I would like the one I think I am like I want to be a Leo like really bad because he's like the coolest, he's like the leader, but in reality I'm Raphael. Like I don't know, every group I'm in, I'm kind of just the one who sort of just strays off and does his own thing, but like cares for his bros at the end of the day. So he's kind of always just sort of been my favorite, just because of the sort of just gruff badassery, I guess. What about you, Rich?
I've always loved Leo. He's got a blue bandana. I like blue. He's got katanas. I always wanted katanas.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, and those are really the two. He's the leader. That doesn't really matter much to me, but yeah, Leo, katanas and blue.
I'd say Raphael because the red. Like I remember when it was one color, it was the red turtles. So like, well, that's the turtle right there. That's the one who's got the things, the little size there. So.
Yeah, for me, I mean, we talked about it a little bit before we were rolling, but Leo is my favorite and always has been. The leadership element of him, and just to put more context with how I feel about Raphael, it's like he's really fun to draw, and there's, you know, he does cool stuff in the comics and stuff. But I was associating it more if I were, because I oftentimes think of myself as a similar, fifth turtle. But if there was a personality I think I most connect with, it's Leo. And I was imagining if I were in a group of brothers and I always had one brother who wouldn't just go off on their own, but would like, you're in the middle of a fight and strategic retreat is the best way, and then they just go rushing into the unstoppable odds, and then you're like, oh, I gotta help him. I can't just leave him here to die, so we all have to jump in, and so he's ruining plans and that sort of thing. That would be very difficult to be around and stuff, so Leo is definitely my favorite, but Raphael is my favorite to draw.
Nice. So, all right, audience, now,
Do you have any more questions?
awesome. So, thank you everyone for coming to our panel. It was great to see all of you, great to talk to you. Huge shout out to these awesome creators. And big shout out to Double Midnight Comics for putting on such an awesome con every year. Let's hear it for them. All right, so that's gonna have to wrap it up for our fantastic panel. We'll be at our table for the rest of today. So if you have any more questions about the show or want to give us a fist bump or get sticker sheets or whatever, just swing by. And this episode will be put on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, all the streamers, probably like tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah.
So definitely want to be on the lookout for it. We'll post when the episode goes up. So thank you everybody for coming on, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yay.